My favorite photo is this photo of Austin. This was actually a school picture. Growing up at 6 years old, he was really into cowboy stuff.
You know, you try to get kids to make them smile when you're taking pictures, make a nice face. Don't scrunch your face up. Don't do that with your eyes. And he would always try to do funny faces in pictures.
The loss of a normal child, and all the hope and the expectations that you have for your child as a normal child. So that was the first feeling of loss.
Because you don't want them to have to struggle. It was about in October
that we got the
actual diagnosis in October of 2002. That we found out that he had Batten disease.
In Dr. Martin Katz's research lab at the University of Missouri, a team of scientists are studying Batten disease, which is a genetic and fatal disease of the brain that typically affects children. There are many forms of this disease that can arise. Austin specifically has the juvenile form. This disease is caused by a buildup of waste in the brain cells due to the children's inability to produce an enzyme that typically breaks down and eliminates this waste.
So it affects the brain tissue, the eye tissue, and that's why then you get kids that have blindness, seizures, inability to walk, inability to talk. And it is also kind of a gradual disease too, that it takes 10 to 15 years from the time you see onset until the time you have early demise of your child. Austin loves to go to school. Even after we had the diagnosis, even after he was using his cane, he would race into school. He would love to run into school. Here's this little blind boy, running around. You're told that your child has this terminal illness. He didn't act like he had a terminal illness, so you didn't act like he had a terminal illness. People don't see it, and neurologists don't make that connection right away.
It was by happenstance that we found Dr. Katz and his research.
Our lab really has two goals. One is to inform the medical community about Batten disease, while the other is to develop a treatment for the disease itself. We are currently in human trials for the treatment in Europe, and while we can't necessarily reverse the symptoms, we are hoping to stop them from progressing further. Our treatment was developed using an animal model that has similar genetic traits as people with this disease. The treatment is working to replace the enzyme that typically breaks down the waste in the child's brain, and they are unable to produce themselves.
We met with Dr. Katz.
To actually see the lab and what they're doing, that's always given us hope.
Any kind of treatment for Batten disease is going to make a difference in the lives of a lot of people. Things that we've heard or read, it's not going to reverse the disease.
Those brain cells are gone.
Right. It might slow the progression. And slowing the progression at this point for what reason? Really, what are you preserving?
Even though you're thinking about the future, you really focus on each day because that's all you really have.
I like to think of it as that I still buy green bananas. To me, you buy green bananas because you know they're going to get ripe. So by always thinking that you have a future, there's something else that's going to happen to you. You don't need to buy the ripest bananas and eat them now. You have tomorrow and you have the day after. So you keep moving forward.